U.S. hospitals raked in 120 million performing sex changes on thousands of kids. That thing they said wasn't happening, right?
Should you cut off contact with family members just because they are voting for Donald Trump? Yes.
That made me want to say a slur. Can I say it or no? In front of one crowd, you better thank a union member. You better thank a union member. In front of the Hispanic crowd, oh, I love you back, besos, besos.
Oh, I love you back. What is something weird about conservatives?
There is almost a cultish vibe, I feel. The way they...
First of all, I want to just say, you're beautiful inside and out.
Thank you.
I know you joked about it like a few times in videos and even here, like about like running for president. So like, do you think that you would actually run for president? Like,
oh, you thought that was a joke? Thank you guys so much for being here. The last show on the tour. So this is our big one. You know what I mean? It's going to be a banger. And just a heads up, in case you're like, what is this bitch going to do on stage? This bitch is not sing. She does in fact not dance. Luckily. We're filming at like a true blue episode of the Blaire White Project, where we're, yes. I see you've heard of it. We're going to be reacting to news stories, reacting to woke TikToks together, which is going to be a bit demented because their faces, their beautiful faces, are going to be on the big screen behind me. And we're going to finish it up with a, I'd say, extra long Q&A tonight. I feel like I want to like talk with you guys. Yeah. And I can see it's going to be no problem, but it's very much an interactive show. So if something is on that heart, you can speak it. You know what I mean? So let's just jump right well, actually, I have some shit to say. And what happened? Okay. This is actually something positive. I'm going to keep it a little bit white-pilled right here. Traveling this country has completely white-pilled me. I have so much hope for the future of this country in a way that I didn't have before this tour. You know, if you watch my stuff, I can sometimes lean on a little bit of pessimism, sometimes a little bit of, oh, everything's fucked, which it kind of is, but... You know, this tour has really re-inspired me to fight for this country, first of all, and just fight for what's right and what's true. So I love you guys, and let's get into it. Let's roll the first story. Oh. When we were talking about what we wanted to talk about tonight with you guys, it was like, oh, slow news day. It's like, oh. Before we react to any other news articles, I just have to say my biggest problem with even picking them is media bias. It's everywhere. It's such a huge problem, but the solution is Ground News. Ground News is a website and app created to empower and help readers navigate our complex media landscape. Ground News gathers related articles from more than 50,000 sources around the world in one place. So you can compare how different outlets frame the same story depending on if the outlet is left or right. It can be so frustrating seeing how different outlets, based on if they're left or right, frame or spin a story based on their political bias, and we've all fallen victim to misinformation or missing context as a result. Every story comes with a visual breakdown of the political bias and ownership, all backed by ratings of 3 independent news monitoring organizations. So this is an article on Ground News about a trans athlete, and you can see that it's been covered by a total of 173 sources. 37% of the sources lean left that are covering the story. One of the most popular features that Ground News offers, and my personal favorite, the blind spot feed. It features stories that are underreported by either side of the political spectrum. This feature is fully unlocked with the Vantage plan. I've been using Ground News for a month now, and it's proven invaluable when I'm picking articles for this podcast. It's revolutionizing the way people consume news on the internet, and it's what the world needs. And based on the comments you guys have left me about Ground News, it's helping a lot of you guys too, which is amazing. Go to ground.news/BWP or the link in the description below to give it a try. If you sign up through my link, you'll get 40% off of the Vantage plan, which is what I use to get unlimited access to all of Ground News' features. I think Ground News is doing extremely important work, and I know you'll agree. And now on to the rest of the podcast. They keep trying to kill this motherfucker, and he doesn't die. He does not die, and he's not gonna die. Like this makes me realize, like, okay, I don't know if it's like an age thing, because I am, you know, as they say, the OB and old bit, and I'm getting there. And I could see how, like, the older people, you know, growing up, like, the older people would be like, oh, this politician I love is like the second coming of Jesus. It's like he's on some godly. I'm like, how does he keep dodging death like that? That's like low-key some like spiritual ash. And, you know, at the end of the day, obviously on a serious note, I don't understand why we're at a time where we're seemingly afraid, not us in this room, but afraid to condemn this type of how it's just been memory hold that this is the third one. There's been, in fact, 3 now. But like I said, he doesn't die, because this country doesn't die. We're not going down. And some tea. Some tea. I haven't said this on camera because it's a little bit depressing. I was supposed to meet him in New York City on my tour. I had a whole thing we were gonna do. I was gonna meet him to have a whole like cultural moment, photo op, meet, have a little 5-minute thing. And but they found bombs or some in the parking lot at his New York rally that day. So it's like, y'all remember the bombs? It ended up being like a false flag. Not a false flag, but it ended up being like they were for the bomb squad, like, but they freaked out and they canceled everything for him for earlier in that day. So these keep ruining my chance to meet Trump too. Fucking bitches. And they're all ugly. All the shooters look like gremlins of the deep. Matthew Crooks, Down syndrome looking at. What was the second one's name? I don't know. He didn't really count. The second one was a little bit, no, not really that much. But he was ugly too. And the third one was ugly as well. So, demons of the deep, creatures. And probably pedophiles, yes. I guess. Nothing really too much to say other than next. This I'm cracking up I'm getting my drink for this one sec. Imagine what do you like frat guys do? Put the holes in the side and just chug it. I am a bit tipsy already, so we'll see where this goes. Yes, alcoholism. So if you didn't know, CBS, because you know we don't have actually a media in this country. We have state-run media. It's giving North Korea. It's giving we should stop thinking of propaganda as something at CCP ass bitches. We should stop thinking of propaganda as something of a third world country. It's here. So we got 2 different answers aired from this bit. So I think the next one shows the way she answered, or the way they aired different answers. Hit play.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Here's the real one.
It seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
What'd that say? Can anybody translate? Oh my God. That's some crazy shit, because you really shouldn't be laughing. You guys really shouldn't be laughing. Because that could be our president. That's scary. You should be screaming. And or your pants, shit chicken, because that is some crazy shit around what needs to happen in the region. This is the part where you say what needs to happen in the region. That's where you elaborate. And obviously it's terrifying that they would straight up air two different answers. Not that the edited one was even better, it was just as vague and stupid. You know what I mean? It wasn't as much of a word salad, but it was, you know, a short little bullshit. That's scary. That's scary. And I don't even know who this bitch is. If you think about it, this is a different every time you see her. In front of one crowd, you better thank a union member. In front of the Hispanic crowd, oh, I love you back, besos, besos. In front of the white crowd, you had better thank a union member because they're an important part of the economy. So who is this bitch? It's giving, right, she needs to find herself. It's giving transracial. Rachel Dolezal, and it's giving, I probably am one to talk, but like, fuck. It's giving Rachel Dolezal. That's scary. Next. Oh, God. Again, every time one pops up, I'm like, where's my drink? Y'all know I come from there, right? Burn it down. We ain't BLM, girl. We're not those people. Here's the reason why I love Nashville, to just stall on even addressing this, is that actually during COVID, you know, when the world went crazy and, you know, there was that whole unprecedented, massive, you know, redistribution of wealth and unprecedented taking of people's rights, I escaped to Nashville constantly. It was one of the places I went and I was like, I need freedom! Because it was scary. And it's also like, I don't even know what they're trying to achieve, because I would say it's like to suppress some kind of a vote, but they already made voter ID illegal. They already conquered California. It is in fact California. And I gotta pray for the people out there that are gonna end up following this, because the sad thing is, you know, they are. Not all of them. I do feel like we're in a different time where it's gonna be more pushback than ever. But, you know, life is hard. And it's harder when you're stupid. So if you're gonna follow this, I was gonna say something crazy. Just get smarter, just get smarter. Continue living your life, don't do anything else. Next. See, that's how I know I'm old. I'm like, that text is so small from here. But I'm pretty sure it says, Will Ferrell says transphobia exists because I think we fear what we don't know. And I'm like, is that Will Ferrell or an actual trans woman on screen? Because what is that surgery? Surely that's the cat lady. Miss Thing is plucked and old. And I know exactly what she got done. That's the craziest part. Listen. We don't gotta preach the White Army choir here, because y'all already know you're on the same page as me. Transphobia does not exist because we fear we don't understand. When we didn't understand trans people, we feared them less. There's actually less fear around this topic when people really didn't know what was going on. And now, unfortunately, I empathize with transphobes. I'm like, how do you go through the destruction of women's sports being the smallest thing, right? Scaling all the way up to sterilization of children, sex changes for kids, you know, anti-free speech legislation. It's like, how do you go through all that and not end up a little bit transphobic? Just a little bit. You don't gotta go KKK with it, but you might just feel a little bit of resentment, because I feel it, so I know you do too. Raise your hand if you're transphobic. Oh, not to me. Okay, thank you. Regardless, it is, like I said, it's hard to be like, how could you not have some resentment towards this? I mean, fuck. One of the things, on a real note, this tour has been partly special to me because, you know, at the Q&As, which, again, get your gears working on Q&A questions, because it's gonna be fun, but at the Q&As, you know, the autistic angels come through. And by autistic angels, what I mean is, you know, these children who are autistic who fall through this pipeline and end up having their lives ruined or having their lives crippled due to the surgeries and the drugs that they have. And we live in a world where I really do miss when the left was anti-big pharma. Those were the days. Those were the days. And now we live in a country where to be a leftist is almost to be a drug pusher. It's like take the vaccine and you can't participate in life. Antidepressants, Adderall, even the kids now are on hormones. It's like, what is going on? This is hell. This is hell. But, you know, if God willing, you know, our guy wins in November next month, you know, this shit's gonna be banned. It's gonna be banned for minors. Despite the fear mongering, Trump's gonna take away all your right. If the right includes cutting kids' dicks off, take that one. You can have that one. Surely you can have that one. As you can see, I'm so bitter I didn't get to meet him in New York because you keep trying to kill him. Where's the camera? Where's the camera? Wherever it is, stop trying to kill him. What happened to the, did someone say you're next? Run up. Don't run up. I know. What was I gonna say about this? Oh, what happened to the Talladega Nights? Was that the name of the movie? This is a transition in many ways. My God. Next. Oh, well, there you go. U.S. hospitals raked in $120 million performing sex changes on thousands of kids. That thing they said wasn't happening, right? See, yeah, y'all know the tagline, it gets better. They used to say it gets worse, actually. This is the thing. As someone who's been talking about this for years, and if you're, you know, an OG subscriber, which there's many in the room, hello, then you would know, you know, back in 2017, 2018, y'all saw the comment section. Even amongst my own supporters sometimes would be like, why are you talking about this thing that is not happening? Like, you're making a big deal of it. What is that? It's a free. It's a free. Some may say a demonic industry. Some may say perhaps actually ran by demons, and I'm sorry, the older I get, the more I actually believe in it. And even if you don't believe in demons, you can surely believe some people do believe in them, right? And that's all it takes to do demonic shit is to believe in it. And they're masked. Oh my God, I didn't even notice the masks. Oh my God. Think about, back to the whole this is hell thing. Think about all the children who saw, before they saw their parents' face when they were born during that whole era, they saw this. The mask. Think about how that is. Think about how sociopathic society already, and now we have another generation coming through that didn't see their parents' faces until they were, I don't know, outside in 2022. Like, insane. We have to save the angels, because one thing about it, 90% of these kids I'm learning are in fact autistic. And I know I sound funny when I talk about the autistic angels, but they don't hurt anybody. They literally don't hurt anybody. The best of them are taking us to the right now, Elon. Y'all saw that video of him jumping at the Trump rally? I love both of them, but it was a bit of a hard 7-second watch, but I appreciated it regardless. And you know, it was autistic representation. It straight up was. I mean, and guess who was making fun of the autism? It was the, as usual. They were going viral with tweets, 100,000 likes. Why is he so embarrassing? Why is he so cringe? Ma'am, that's your average autistic person being autistic joy. Aren't you the party of, the party of joy is going out sad. Next, hopefully this is less sad. It's not. Who's seen this? Okay, well then most of you in here have not. Sorry about it, but we're gonna ruin that right now. This is, you know, obviously to set it up, you know, Miss Camilla is struggling with men. Men are not wanting to vote for this. And you could kind of see why, because they're gonna be drafted in World War III if they do, but, you know, This is the ad she made because she felt like she was gonna win over men. And in men, if raise your, this is a good one. Men, after you watch this, if it wins you over to vote for her, raise your hand so we can jump you.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man. And I'm man enough. And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful. I love women. Women who take charge. And I'm man enough to help them win.
Did it win anyone over? Not one hand. That was a thumbs down over there. Okay. You know, I do have one thought, and this is an uncensored conversation, so maybe I can say it. That made me want to say a slur. Can I say it or no? That was I'm dead. I didn't want to torture you with the longer one. We edited it down to a few seconds. But it's long. It's long. My God. It's quite sad, right? Because you see like Tim Walz go out and he like can't load the shotgun. Y'all saw that? Yeah, I think it got clogged with the tampon. And it's just weird, you know, but here is what is really a good thing. And this goes back to being white-pilled, and you are at the Blaire White show, so let's get white-pilled. It's actually a very good thing that they're forced to do this, that Camilla is forced to be like, I have a Glock, and I've shot it one time. And here's why it's good. We live in a center-right country, period, and they know that they cannot win, and the polling shows they cannot win unless they try to pretend to be right-wing a little bit. And that just goes to show that we have the culture right now, and we have to keep, you know, we have to hold on to it because conservatives aren't so good at that, right-wingers aren't so good at that. We give the other side the culture, and we lose it for decades. So this time, can we get a good grip on it? Unlike that gun by Tim Walz, I was like, it was like, he's gonna shoot himself in the face. It was like, I'm surprised he didn't aim at it. My God. You really shouldn't vote for a VP, a male VP, that loads a gun worse than a That's a problem. That's a problem. Weapons of war, apparently. Next.
Being misgendered can be an incredibly painful experience. And it is real life places that doesn't change.
Stupid. I see you guys are fans. Hit play, I guess.
Who did Donald Trump's makeup for this debate? Oh my God, me in 2016? What is this foundation color match and who is the makeup artist responsible? This is crazy. I know that I've had some very embarrassing foundation moments online before, but this
drugs?
Like puts Flash McBerry to fucking
This is
shame,
drugs,
girl.
right?
What is going on? This man has bright pink undertones and they have literally slapped on a golden bright yellow foundation. Like, what is this? You can literally tell where they just stopped.
We've heard enough. Shut him up. We've heard enough. I gotta go. I'm out. They didn't tell me they put that one in here. But to address the first demon, James Charles is what you get when you mix abusing Adderall with abusing minors. Literally, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. How many years did he get caught doing that shit with the minors? 2 years? 3 years? It's an annual event for this mother. Can I tell you some tea about him too? He's a you knew that one. He tried to be my friend years ago. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, this was like in 2019, 2020. like that. And he hit me up and he was like, we should hang out. You live in LA, blah, blah, blah. Give me your number. So I texted him. There was nothing really bad about him at that time. So I was like, whatever. And then I blocked him and I ghosted him immediately because he made fun of the fact that I was texting him from an Android. He was like, why is your bubble green? And I was like, ew. Just a random side note. What a bullet I dodged, right? Unlike those miners. Okay, this one, okay. What is that Illuminati ass hand symbol? He said, eh. Okay. Let's hear what this demonic goblin has to say.
Hi. Should you cut off contact with family members just because they are voting for Donald Trump? Yes. If so far they have not been able or willing to listen to compassion, to listen to kindness, to listen to you, or even to do their own research and discover that hatred's not the answer, that love and kindness is the answer. If they are unwilling to change, they must experience consequences.
Can I tell you some tea about him? He's a you knew that. But on some real hatred's not the answer. Then why is that all that I feel for you, sir? That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling, and I'm gonna own that. I hate this mother. I really do. Another literal, it's crazy how like it comes out as like a joke, like, oh yeah, he's a pedophile. He is. He straight up is. How many also times has he been caught on Patreon with minors making videos about sex and having minors join his Patreon? Like, it's just fucking up. Oh my God, and that hairline. It's all the way in the back. Like Rosa Parks, girl. All the way in the back. They did Rosa so dirty. Just like his hairdresser and his genetics. Next. Oh, it's Elmer Fudd. All right, hit play. I don't know if I'm like too sober for this or like not. They can't win. They cannot win. I mean, that is like, we can't let them. They're gonna cheat. They're gonna cheat. That's who and what they are, right? That's what's in their spirit. However, there's only a certain margin you can cheat. There's only a certain margin, and I really do feel like we're gonna win. I know we're gonna win. I really do know that. I don't want to sound like a transgender preacher up here, but there is no reason other than we're gonna win for that bullet to go like that and just touch that ear ever so gently. There's just no reason other than that, right? But you can also, you know, if you want some more concrete evidence that we're gonna win, we're up in voter registrations, we're up in all the swing states, and when Trump is down, he ends up being way higher in the polling or in the votes than he really is. It's always underestimating, but you know, so we're gonna win so hard the cheating doesn't work. That's what's gonna happen. Yes, yes, yes. They can keep California. They can keep it. It's fine. You did the voter ID shit. Every person over the border can vote now. Cool. We don't even need California anymore. But Tennessee is staying red. Tennessee is staying red. On my way to tell J.D. Vance to mind his own damn business. The motherfucker who had a snitch hotline. Hi, my neighbors are talking to each other without masks in their home. Can you address that? That is some commie ass shit, and that's why he went to China 35 times with the underage boys. Very much underage. Y'all know the age of consent in China? Anyone want to guess? 14. Just making an observation. So this mother, first of all, he can't tell J.D. Vance shit. Y'all saw that debate? J.D. Vance. That was an ass beating. That was an ass week. I hope to God, as someone who does debates quite frequently, y'all saw the clip, as someone who does debates, I hope to God I'm never looking into a camera during a debate like this. But that's how you know it's bad. That's how you know it's bad. And in regards to Mr. J.D. Vance, as much as, you know, I appreciate that Trump is the wrecking ball we need right now, I need him to go in right now and really, like, get some revenge. Next time around, you know, 2028, if we can all heal, I think he very much represents kind of what we need. Like, he's very well-spoken, very well-tempered. If we can heal. If we can heal, it's J.D. Vance's time. If not, I guess DeSantis, I don't know. But right now, it's Trump's time, bitch. Period. A few people come to these Q&As and they're like, how do you feel about, you know, DeSantis? I know you kind of liked him in the primary, whatever. And I was like, when he was on the table, I was willing to hear him out. But bitch, it's Trump's era still. This story is not over, bitch. This seltzer is hitting. Oh, and I actually know the next one. I put this one in. In case you want to see how hard he minds his business, let's look at the state of Minneapolis, the wonder city that he is the governor of the state. Let's see the state of Minneapolis under his leadership. Mostly peaceful. You get the point. Hell. Like I said, we're living in hell. We can pause it here. I think it goes on too long. It is, and I know we've all kind of memory hold that because it was a traumatic time for everyone, but do not forget, the demons on the Democratic side of the ticket, you have him who let his cities burn, and you have Kamala who bailed them out of prison, set up a goddamn fund. So who the f is voting for somebody to help America, to heal America, to build America, who is on record, on camera, on paper, literally burning it down and bailing out the people doing it? There's just no like, I don't give a f about mean tweets. Sorry, they burned the cities down. I just don't care. I don't care, you know? Straight up. And they want you to pretend that didn't exist. And part of the reason is that time was so traumatic for all of us. We forget, oh yeah, they really had us with circles on the floor. Step here. They really had us communicating with our fellow humans without showing our faces. The mental health crisis, for the children especially. The overdoses, oh, church is closed, liquor stores open. What is that? Sunlight's bad? Sunlight's bad. Vitamin D's bad. Ivermectin's bad. It's all, see, when you realize it's all an inversion, then you start to see the truth. You have to almost second guess yourself as like, wait, are they really all just saying the diametric opposite of what the truth is? Yes. It's the opposite. It's not halfway. There's not a lot of nuance. Some things maybe, but a lot of things like that, it's like, no, that's just the opposite. So they can't win. Like I said, like, please just don't let these bitches win. Let's play this one.
What is something weird about conservatives?
There is almost a cultish vibe, I feel. The way they operate within themselves, they refuse to listen to outside people, you know, they're refusing to learn, essentially. I think that is a large part of it.
That was giving school shooter. Oh, it must be one of Tim Walz's friends. One of those school shooters he's friends with. On some real as much as like I'm scared of Camilla because she's just in fact a puppet with many hands inside her, I'm actually more afraid of Tim Walz. In a weird way, I'm more afraid of Tim Walz being VP than I am of Camilla being president. It's just like scary. You have a guy shaking and looking like this over a debate, and that guy's supposed to be, because you know the VP has meetings with foreign adversaries. The VP has meetings with dictators. It was scary watching him. I'm like, this is not leadership. This cannot be. So, yeah. What is this? What's this one? You know how long it takes me sometimes when I'm filming these by myself and not with an audience to like hit play? Sometimes I'm just sitting there like, I can't. Oh my God. Okay. We put it off long enough. Hit play.
I grew this so I wouldn't be perceived as a woman. And I grew these so I wouldn't be perceived as a man. And if that confuses or upsets you, mission complete. But if it doesn't, mission accomplished.
But isn't that the shit? This motherfucker is just like a perfect microcosm of what I talk about on my channel. And again, I'm talking to the Blaire White Army, so y'all know. This is like literally, he's saying in his words that confusion is the point. Meanwhile, y'all are very aware, if you're tuned into The Real by watching my show, that with trans people, there was like social contract before to not cause confusion or disruption or pain or fear in public places. And now it's the opposite because this is a cross-dresser. It's a cross-dresser. It's a perverted man. It all boils down to just horny men. It really does. The circle of pain in this world just boils down to a mother with a boner. Thank you. Love you. So that's disgusting. Get it off the screen. Ooh. I think I've seen this one before. You just know he's about to just drop some truth bombs. You can tell. You can tell he's going to just make sense and a lot of valuable things about to be said. Hit play.
I'm going to be real, and I don't give a what anybody say. Black children need to be separated from white children and any other race when it comes to education, because no other race, especially white people, will tell the black person's history truthfully about where they come from, who they are, and what they are. The white person will only suppress the black person's history to maintain their genetic survival, to bring about a news story that doesn't even exist.
Oh my God. I know we talk a lot about the gender but this is what's really tearing the country apart. This race shit. This fucking demented, being so anti-racist that you're like, segregation's good, bring that back. That's what the said. Starting a video with black children need to be separated from white children. Don't clip that out of context. That's his demented words, not mine. And you see what the problem is. That this is seen as virtuous, and the shit that we're talking about here in this room, we're the Nazis. We're the bad guys, these are the good guys, right? Again, it's that inversion. It's just the opposite. It's not even halfway. You're either, huh? Well, it's so fitting because we may possibly, I don't believe she's going to win, but we may possibly have a DEI president. It's not right. And people want to get so shook when you say that. How is it bad to say that when Biden himself is on camera saying multiple times, I don't know who I'm going to pick, but I'm going to pick a black woman. She will be a black woman. And then in comes Kamala. And I guess that's questionable, right? Because again, this bitch has done every accent but a fucking Indian one. So I'm like, are you Indian? Are you black? I don't understand. And you can be many things, but again, find yourself, bitch. Camilla, wherever you are, find yourself, bitch. Find yourself at home after you're out of the White House. That'll be my house in the future. It's already called the White House. Hello. That's right. That's my last name. You know, people say that's racist. I'm not kidding. It sounds crazy. There is a sizable amount of people in my Twitter mentions, in my replies, and all the time who are like, so if you're not racist, why would you name yourself Blaire White? That's my real last name. Came out the womb with that last name, but that's how you know how sick people are, that they just hear the word white and it's an issue, you know. Next, get this troglodyte off the screen. Ooh, more troglodytes. A bigger troglodyte and a smaller one. Hit play.
Your mom say you have to be LGBT? No, I think she's what I want to be, but
Go ahead, Lex. Go ahead. Keep talking. Say what you're saying.
My mom doesn't matter if I am gay or lesbian or any of that. She doesn't care. All she cares about is that I'm a part of it. And if I'm not a part of it, she'll try to convince me to join it. Because
What? Are you saying right now?
Facts.
That I would convince you to join what?
The LGBTQIA+ community.
I need to address white people. Can I be real or do I have to be fake? This is a white problem. Be so for real, my fellow, I'm 70% white. Be so for real in this crowd, my fellow white people. I sounded like an Asian, white people. But be so for real, black people aren't falling for this shit. Making your kid LGBTQ for the sake of it, joining the LGBTQ. Hispanic people not falling for that shit. It's a white problem, and I'm so sorry we have to fix that from within. And I'll do 70% of the work because I'm 70% white. But for those of y'all that are hitting on 100, we got to do a little more. We got to do a little more. And you know why that is, right? White people are the only people that are not allowed to have an identity based on their race, based on being white. It's the only race that you can't be proud of that. You can't have an identity based around that. You can't talk about your own if you're white. White people, you gotta make a comeback. You gotta come back. Taking too many L's, white people, come back. Come back. And stop doing this shit. You don't have to be non-binary. You can just be a white person. And guess what? That's okay. That is so okay. She looks like Muck. Y'all know that Pokemon Muck? The big sludge bit. And you know she regrets doing that live stream. That kid gagged her on live stream, and I think he called her fat. Do you guys hear that? I think he was like, fat. I'm trying to be nice, but she's making her kid gay. I mean, that's fucked up. For real. I didn't hear you, so maybe I shouldn't agree with that, but for real. Next. Hold on. Let me set this one up for you. I put this one in after I came back from Canada, because y'all know, bless my soul, I did do a stop in Canada on this tour. But you know what? I have to say, I actually really liked Canada. The people. The people are nice. The people are lovely. The stereotype that they're nice is very true. And that's why they're being conquered. Because they're so nice. That's number one. It's the government that's just like California. You know, there's lived out demons in California, but there's a lot of great people. I'm from there, right? So it can't be that bad. But this is a video. I was inspired to put it in after Canada because they have no guns. And there was people at the Q&A that were like, Blaire, how do I defend myself? How do you recommend I defend myself against all the violence happening in this country now? Because, you know, they have a little immigration problem, a little mixing of cultures that are having some issues, and people are being assaulted on the streets a lot. And they're like, we don't have guns, what do I do? And she said, pepper spray is even illegal. How demented is that? How demented? Pepper spray is illegal in Canada. And tasers. Y'all remember that the taser? It was a moment. It was a moment. Did you guys see on X today, Jessica and Eve was like calling somebody the N-word? There's like a video of her like screaming the N-word. Him, it, whatever, but it's screaming the N-word. Different topic, we're going off on a tangent, whatever. I put this in because this is a PSA from the country of Finland. This is government. This is advice for the women of Finland who are complaining about migrant violence and being assaulted and raped on the streets. This is their advice on how you solve that.
Stop! Don't touch me there! This is my no-no square! Stop! Don't touch me there! This is my no-no square!
So, in case anyone's hard of hearing or doesn't understand stupid, these said, stop, don't touch me there, this is my no-no square. With a dance. And you know what an American says? Stop, don't touch me there, this is my block, bitch. We can't lose the guns. We can't lose the guns. When I was doing, and I will tell you from firsthand experience now being in Canada, it was my first time ever in Canada, and I'm like, they don't have freedom of speech. Am I going to get arrested like Tommy Robinson? Like, what's going on? All the people in the Q&A, which I know will not be the case here because Nashville motherfuckers are brave, the people in Canada, Every person in the Q&A almost started with, please don't put it on video, I'm scared I'm gonna get in trouble with the government or lose my job, like that. And guess why? Because they don't have any fucking guns. So the government can do whatever the fuck they want you if you don't have guns. And that's just, don't believe me, you're free to be wrong, open a history book. You know what I'm saying? Like, America is the last stand. America is the last stand. And a big part of that, the most important part of that in many ways, is these guns. So learn how to load them, unlike Tim Walz. You can clap for guns. Yes, you can clap for guns. This is my no-no square. The Next. Another one, you can just tell it's going to be truth bombs before you hit play. Hit play so we can get played.
I'm a folks therapist. Of course I want to hear about all the members of your polycule. I'm a folks therapist. Of course your emotional support dog, cat, bird, or reptile can come to session. And of course I'm going to want to know their names and pronouns. I'm a folks therapist. Of course I'm going to tell you how incredibly proud I am of you.
A therapist. You go to this therapist, you come out with more problems. You go in with like, I have a little anxiety, a little depression, hard times at work. You come out with more issues. My God. What is a folks? What is does anyone know what a folks is? It's the lib word. Folks is already gender neutral. What? Oh my God, these people are weirds. For people that want to control language so bad, perhaps you should understand it. The word folks is gender neutral. Ew. Like I said, life is hard. It's harder when you're retarded. And this is a problem.
First of all, I want to just say, you're beautiful inside and out.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And when I say that, I want to also specify, I do not pity you because of intersectionality.
Can you say that one more time? I'm so sorry.
When I say that you're beautiful inside and out, I want to specify that I do not pity you because of intersectionality or some other libtard shit. I see you, and I think that you're beautiful inside and out, so thank you.
Thank you. You're very kind. I appreciate that.
So my question is this. I feel like for gays, lesbians, bisexuals, and trans over 30, us old and crusty ones, there's a bit of like a rebel spirit, but I feel like a lot of them are very quiet, despite the genocide of gay people and lesbians, especially the tomboys.
Save the tomboys, please.
Save the tomboys, yes.
They've never been my type as a friend, but they're cool and they should be saved, yes.
So I know a lot of people want to remain apolitical, but I'd like to know, to that older generation of gays, lesbians, bisexuals, what would you say to them?
To the older generation who wants to be apolitical and not get their feet in the dirt? Well, you better get your feet in the dirt before your head is in the dirt, bitch. That's what I say to them. That's what I say to them, because how dare you let this ship just go down after everything that, you know, all dues to the older gays and lesbians and the few trans that were around back then too. It's like, they really did fight for some real shit. You know what I mean? They really did create progress, and they did create a world where my life was better for a time, but it's sinking down for all of us. And it's due to that silence. What do the libs say? Silence is violence. I'm not gonna go that far with it, but what I'll say is it is stupid to do that, because you see what's happening. You see these kids and these, like I said, autistic angels are getting, you know, sterilized. You see these kids are getting harmed. You see women are being harmed, and you see societies being ripped apart due to all this gender shit. So my message is like, speak up. If Buck Angel can do it at his, all due respect, because I love him, old age, everyone can. And that was really no shade. He's at Buck Angel, last name Angel is correct. Truly a good person. Yeah.
Right on. Thank you.
Thank you, and cheers. Thank you for coming. Nashville is such a nice crowd. You guys are amazing.
All right, so I'm just going to read off my question. So I'm a medical provider, and I have encountered patients with gender dysphoria. some of them make impulsive decisions about transitioning. So being a trans woman yourself, what would be a good response to letting them know maybe that right now is not the right time to transition? This is based on my assessment of their mental state. And on top of that is the right time based on doctor's opinion or the patient's when it comes to trans care? And then how did your conversation go with your doctor when you decided to transition?
I can, yes, great question. I can answer the last part of your question very, very quickly. It was a 2-minute conversation that had nothing to do with the pitfalls or needing to, save my DNA later for possibly having children. It had nothing to do with any of the downsides of this medication. Nothing. It was literally just, you're gonna feel so amazing and you're gonna be in your right body. It was like borderline spiritual shit. Yeah. And as someone who, is actually quite a spiritual these days, that's not the kind of spiritualism I want in a medical room where they're like, you're just going to feel amazing and everything's going to be great. Yeah. Meanwhile, it's drugs that have a lot of downsides, and especially for children. And, the 2-minute conversation is echoed among every minor that I have that comes to these Q&As and says, this happened to me. It was not shorter or longer. It's about the same. It's like they don't say anything. It's just, here you go. And, as a medical provider, this is another thing I learned about Canada, is that, because there's others that came to the Q&A there that were in your same shoes, they can get fired, lose their careers, and even face fines for engaging in what's called conversion therapy, even though how they define it is simply telling the child, telling the patient, maybe there are other factors at play we can explore first. It's that simple. If you don't affirm it right away, you can lose your license up there. Right. So that's scary. Yeah. I mean, my advice would be, try to inform them that a lot of things look like gender dysphoria that aren't. You're going to have to be sensitive, because that's a sensitive time in someone's life if they're going to, receive care for that kind of thing. But, maybe tell them, like, there's a lot of literature on this going back over a century, and up until recently when it became very politicized, it was very openly talked about that, victims of child sexual molestation, victims of certain traumas, gay people can experience gender dysphoria at different times, either permanently or during different seasons of their life, and it doesn't mean a permanent decision is always the move. Right. So that is gone, that entire mindset. So try to bring it back in whatever way you can while keeping your job. That's what I would say.
Yeah. And the last thing, just being from California, it's a very sticky situation. But I know that my approach is more making sure that that's what the patient wants. So a thorough mental evaluation is, because if you want to transition, that's on you, but I want to make sure that's what you want and you don't regret. So it's really difficult, because you want to see the person thrive, but at the same time, you don't want them to make the mistake based on compulsive behavior.
Because what you want isn't always what you need, right? So it's hard, but I applaud you for even having nuanced thoughts about it, because you're in a field where the overwhelming amount of care providers don't have any nuance at all in the way they think about it. So automatically you're taking better care of your patients than they are. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Love the hat.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too. So I know we had our little meet and greet earlier, and like I said, I started watching you in 8th grade. Not to make you feel old, but I'm a sophomore in college now, and just...
You could have 2 kids. That's crazy.
No, not for me. Not for me right now. Maybe later. But one thing that I just really appreciate, before I say my question, one thing that I really appreciate about you is that you really kind of helped me come into my own, as a bisexual woman, being in 8th grade, starting to figure out my sexuality and everything like that. And you kind of showed me that you can be a bad bitch and be reasonable and still be LGBT, 100%. So I really appreciate your work, and I just really appreciate you as a person, and I appreciate you standing up for children too, because I feel like LGBT or non-LGBT, not enough people stand up for children, and so I really appreciate you doing that, and I hope you continue your work. You're amazing. I love you.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
Thank you. And so my question is, I know you joked about it a few times in videos, and even here, about running for president. So do you think that you would actually run for president?
Oh, you thought that was a joke?
You got my vote for sure.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna need a few decades on that, but I do plan on running for lower levels of office first. Nice. So yeah.
Woo! And then also just a slight follow-up question. Say you get elected into office, you're the first transgender woman president. Awesome.
Wouldn't that be some for Hillary? Oh my God, gotta make this big.
That's true.
And before Camilla.
Before Camilla. But what would be, I was just curious, what would be like your first act, like in office? What would be the very first thing you do? You sit down at the Oval Office, sign the executive order, what is it?
Oh my God, I don't know about first. I could give you a very long list, you know. I would do whatever I could to codify that nobody ever, even after me, could take away guns ever, could ever, you know, infringe on free speech. And it also depends on what's legal and illegal at the time, right? Like what the situation is at the time, right? I don't know about the first, but everything I've ever talked about in videos, I would do. I don't just say shit to say it, you know what I mean?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there.
She thought I was joking. Hi.
Hi there. Thanks again for being here. And again, I appreciate everything you, Buck, Sarah Higdon, all the people do to speak on our behalf. One question I did have for you is that, so trans rights and trans healthcare are hot button issues in this current climate. And we're starting to see states roll back trans healthcare for youth, which is a good thing. I completely disagree with that. But it's also now having ramifications for adults, such as myself, specifically in South Carolina where I live. The major medical system there will no longer do gender care for adults, which sucks. And mainly it's because of because they accept public funding. I'm curious if you believe that other states will do the same exact thing, and then do you feel that it's more difficult being a transgender woman yourself to get health care because there's so many people who are not really trans, or they could be non-binary, and they're taking those kinds of resources away from actual trans people?
I haven't had any problems in California or Texas. I don't know what the situation is in South Carolina entirely. I don't know if it's a complete ban or whatever, but I will say this is what I've been warning people about since the genesis of my channel. You know, so it's far from shocking to me. I would always say, stop doing this to kids, stop doing this to women, because there's gonna be backlash, and that will come in the form of laws against you. This is what I've always said. And unfortunately, sometimes I think reality just isn't so nice, and the reality of this situation that we're potentially in going forward is we have allowed the medical system to be overran with incompetence as it relates to trans care. We've allowed just a complete of what they do, what they used to do for us, and now it's to us and people that aren't us, right? So we're gonna have to find a balance in the middle. We're gonna have to, you know, maintain the freedom for adults, but the protection of kids. And if there's a period of time in between where this state or that state is, you know, infringing a bit on adults, it's like, I don't like that. I support freedom for all adults. If you can vote and die for this country at 18, you can get a surgery. But at the same time, you know, I don't blame these lawmakers for saying what is going on. We have all these kids, their lives are being ruined, and adults, it's also mistreating adults. We forget that sometimes. It's not just about the kids either. So I don't blame people for being like, you know, in the words of Trump, we got to put a pause on this shit and figure out what's going on.
Yep, completely agree.
So it's going to be a balance, just like all rights and freedoms, you know?
Yep, I agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Blaire. Nice to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I had the chance to meet you like 7 years ago in Virginia, and I missed it.
At the mall meetup?
Yes.
Oh my God. Look how far we've come.
I know.
To come meet me at the mall for free. Now y'all buying tickets.
I know, right? No, I'm so happy how much you've grown. So yeah, nice to finally meet you. But my question is, I guess, a little more simple. Everyone's had such thought out questions so far, but
that's fine. I like simple ones too.
Yeah, well, actually, maybe it's not so simple, but I want to know your opinion on why this is all happening. Like, what's the end goal for what's going on? Is this like the natural progression where governments will go eventually? And then why now? Like, is it internet? Are people out of things to be stressed about, so they're making stuff up?
You mean like all the woke shit, basically?
Yes. Like, could America potentially go into like communism and that thing? Do you think we're immune from that, or not at all?
We are not immune to that. We can fall into communism at a moment's moment.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where that sentence was going, but that's the truth, right? And this is how it actually works if you are, you know, someone who studies history, which I'm getting more and more into history the older I get. And, you know, no one expects their country to fall into communism. It happens like that.
Yeah.
You're living in a free society, and then all of a sudden, that politician that came around that was promising all these free things with no idea how to pay for it, then has a collapsed economy. And what do you do with all these starving, angry people? You kill them. This is history. And we are not immune to it. Yeah. As you can see, there's a lot of things we recently thought we were immune to in this country. You know, locking up our political opponents. We gave our president a mugshot.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true. Yeah.
That's something that a year ago we were like, oh, we're America. We don't arrest our presidents. No, we can. Right? Political violence. You look at Mexico. You look at all the candidates in Mexico. How many people in their like presidential elections like die every year? It's like all these candidates drop like flies. This is what we're evolving into or devolving into, right? Yeah. And it can happen. You know, my best friend, his name is JC. He's a very special person to me. We rode out COVID together in California, and he came from Cuba. He escaped Cuba, and I learned a lot from him about freedom and about communism and about capitalism. And, you know, just like there, it happened overnight. And his grandfather, it's a bit of a dark story, but you know, his grandfather was, you know, the owner of a farm for his entire life, and communism took over in an instant, and his grandfather took a shotgun because his life force was taken from him, and there was no way out. Wow. And his whole family had to escape to Cuba or die, or escape to America or die. So this is what's on the table. But like I said, we're gonna win, so we're gonna be okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Thank you.
Because we have guns. Like it's. Hi.
Hey, I'm not much of a public speaker, but here we go.
That's fine. Neither am I.
So, yeah, I came to this show and I told a couple of friends about it, including one friend who is a self-proclaimed trans nun and goes around, very interesting person. And
I respect it.
Yeah, and they gave me a lot of shit about coming to this show.
I don't respect it.
Yeah, and I discovered you actually through some terminology from like transgenders or something, and I was wondering where you draw the line with who is real trans and who is transgenders, and I discovered you through Natalie Wynn, and I thought that was an interesting point of view. So where do you draw the line is what I question.
The line is if it's political or sexual, it's not trans. If it's a political identity, that's a political identity. If it's a sexual fetish, that's a sexual fetish. Trans is gender dysphoria and transitioning to alleviate it. That's what trans is. And that's what it always was until 2015. Got a whole over a century of literature on this, and then 2015, actually, it's all different.
Well, good evening, beautiful.
Hi, you were very vocal in the audience. I loved it.
I know.
She was talking that shit.
That's just me. That's who I am. That's who I always am. And today's my birthday. And
happy birthday.
I bought tickets just because it was your last show, and I was like, I gotta come see you, Blaire. I love you, and I watch you a lot on YouTube, and I really love your voice. I love that you are so outspoken about what is so important right now, because like literally what is going on in our country right now is good versus evil. That's what it is. It's not red versus blue or me versus you. It's good versus evil. That's what it is, okay? And, you know, you have such an important voice right now. I just want you to realize how important your voice is. And because it really is. There are so many people watching you and listening to you, and they do believe in you. That's why we're all here tonight. Seriously, that's why I'm here, okay? And I believe in what you're doing, and I really just think that how do we magnify this? How do we take this further? How do we take this where it really needs to go? Because this is what we need to we need to retake our country. This is what we need to do. We need to take our country back, okay? Because it's these people are the agenda that they have. They don't want us to have anything good. They don't want us to own anything, and they want us to be happy about it. They want us to be slaves, okay? I'm not a slave. I'm not a slave.
They don't own you, bitch. They don't own you.
They sure as fuck don't own me.
No, and how we fix it is we empower Everybody, we empower the human spirit. We bring the human spirit back. Because look at what they're doing. And this is actually so deep. Look at the architecture from 150 years ago.
I'm not broken.
Look at what life was.
Yeah.
Look at the homes we used to live in. Look at the buildings we used to go to school in. Look at the streets we used to walk. You can't walk American streets anymore.
Things used to be safe. They used to be nice and clean, proper. There used to be morals. Okay?
100%. And even the morals we didn't all agree on, we had some.
Okay.
We had some.
You know what they took out, though? You know what they took out, Blaire? They took God out of all of it. They took God out of all of it. Okay? And that's the truth. That's
the truth. It is the truth. And that can manifest however people want to interpret that. I don't care what your God is, as long as it's teaching you not to hurt people.
I can see that you have been searching yourself spiritually. I've been watching your journey, like on just like in open and public, and you've been very vulnerable about it. But you know what? Good for you for being able to do that in the public eye anyway. But I see that you are like starting to come and see that, like, I see it. I feel it for you. And I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you know,
Thank you.
yes. And I just have to tell you, Blaire, that I am so very thankful that you do have a voice. I don't want to take up any more. I want to be able to pass the mic, but like, you have a voice, and I want you to realize that it is very important what you are doing right now. You have, like, this is important for everyone. Okay,
it's important for me too. I love you guys for coming.
And I know that you take it seriously. I know that you take it seriously, and I think that you can take it even further with the right people. With the right people. With the right people. Okay. And that's exactly what needs to be done. Just don't be afraid to continue to use your voice.
I won't.
And I think that you are absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
I think you're absolutely beautiful, inside and out. And thank you so very much just for what you're doing.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Hi, Blaire. As a Nashville native fellow, well, I wouldn't say fellow, but gay conservative.
Can you talk in the mic a bit? I can't hear you.
Sorry. As a gay conservative, thank you very much for being outspoken.
Love a gay conservative. It's my favorite kind of gay.
And I'm from Mississippi, so I didn't lose all my morals and values from, you know.
You're gay, not stupid.
Toddy toddy. Hopefully not a Mississippi State fan. Oh. So what my question would be, and it's a loaded one, obviously we live in a time where I have noticed way more gay conservatives being vocal about things that I think are so important, as well as other trans people that are, you know, becoming to find a voice and not afraid to speak out. What would you...
I saw Chinese for Trump the other day on TikTok. Isn't that crazy?
I'm in there all the time.
Tell me that's not my impact. Tell me that's not my impact.
You did that.
Sorry, continue your question.
No, you're good. What would you say is like the biggest talking point? Obviously, the left does an incredible job at pandering to our community. I won't say the alphabet mafia because I'm not part of that, but what would you say is like the biggest talking point to kind of win over those people who haven't completely lost their minds yet?
That's a good question. I think that one thing that wins at least the G part of the LGBT over is how much the wokeness as associated with the T and the Q affects them. We can talk about how there's, you know, a silent war on gay people happening where we're transitioning them, just like Iran.
Yep.
Just like Iran.
Yep.
And that's not a joke, because in Iran, if you're gay, they give you a sex change because being gay is illegal, so you have to be a woman. And what are we doing to little feminine boys in this country? Sex change.
Yep.
Little tomboys in this country, sex change. Oh, you're actually a boy. So I think that wakes a lot of them up. And the thing about waking up is that it's a domino effect. People say a rabbit hole, it's more of a domino effect. Once you see you've been told one egregious lie, and when you realize it's as much of an inversion, a complete diametric opposite to the truth as that one, you start to be like, okay, what else is a lie? And if you have decent pattern recognition, which a lot of people in our community are autistic, we got to keep going back to that. With that pattern recognition, you start seeing, oh my God, and they're lying about the border, and the economy, and foreign policy, and gender, and race. It goes you on the line. So Start with that for the gays. And as for the trans, I would say pill them on the non-binary. You heard trans people, you know, tonight talking about how that freaks them out, and it's real. So I would say start within the community, because then they start to question everything else. The reason there's so many gay conservatives is because the last 4 years, they've attached so much more even wokeness to the entire gender topic that woke them all up. So we got to keep going. But isn't it so funny people act like you can't be gay and conservative?
Oh yeah, I literally lead with "I'm a bad gay" to everyone I know.
Isn't that so funny?
It is what it is.
It's called having a low IQ. Not being gay and conservative, but thinking it's impossible, because to believe that, you have to believe two things that are both equally stupid. The first is that gay people only care about gay issues. Not the border, not the economy, not foreign policy, not safety in cities, not immigration, not the guns, not free speech, right? So you have to believe they don't give a f about any of that. They only vote on gay issues. And the second thing you have to believe that's equally stupid is that you have to believe the Democrats are handling those issues correctly. Whereas I look at every piece of legislation as it relates to the G, the L, the B, or the T, and I'm like, oh, it's fucked, and it causes more damage than it helps. So Alex Jones was right. It's an info war, bitch.
Yep.
And it's about getting information out.
Yep.
And, you know, the thing about LGBT people is that we are a bit more receptive to kind of shattering the matrix of what we believe, because we had to do it once or twice before, right? We had to come out. We had to enter a new paradigm before. We can do it again. We can do it again and wake up to common sense.
Very well. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Hi, Blaire.
Hi.
Saw you earlier.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. So you're 31, right?
Just turned, yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It's been a month, but yeah.
Yeah, I just turned 25 like a week or two ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And so I've seen literally all your videos. I know that growing up, you talk about you did not have a good childhood. You grew up where drugs were very prevalent. You experienced some abuse. You were very bullied in school. Your youngest or your first thoughts were thoughts of gender dysphoria. And I find you very inspiring because of everything that, despite all that you've been able to do in life. I mean, like, literally, look at you. You're so successful. Most people won't reach the level of success that you have.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I really appreciate that. And it's I don't want to cut you off, mini rant. You can overcome anything in life, you really can. The amount of things I've overcome in this life that most people keel over and give up over is a lot. And it shows me that you really can get through anything.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I find you so inspiring. So now that you're 31, if you could...
Can you stop saying that?
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I'm 25 and I feel old too.
You can stop saying that too.
So now that you can look back at your childhood and your teenage years and everything you went through, that, I mean, from what I've seen in videos, it was definitely, to say it wasn't ideal would be an understatement. Would you, if you could go back and like basically change all that and relive your childhood without the knowledge you have now, but just, I don't know, basically like sign a paper like, I'll have a perfect childhood growing up. Do you think you would do it, or do you think are you thankful for what this has taught you and everything? Because I think, I don't know, I think the most inspiring people have the hardest backstories.
100%, and I can't relate to it that's been through nothing at all.
Me either.
I really cannot. Literally, it's hard to have a conversation with them.
Like literally,
and God bless them. God bless them for nothing happening to them. I want nothing bad to happen to anybody, but you get it.
Yeah. 100%.
I would not change a single thing, not one. You wouldn't and I know that's so corny. Everyone's like, I wouldn't change a thing I've been through, but I really wouldn't, because look where I'm at.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, literally, you're so successful.
Thank you.
I know people that have they've had great lives and they will never reach the level of success that you do. They'll never be the level of inspiring that you are.
Thank you. And it's not even just like success, like money or people know me or whatever. Like, that's like, success is overcoming.
Yes,
and that's what life is, and that's how you accrue power in this world is facing down the eyes of the devil, and I don't mean literally a devil, I mean like, what is the devil? Devil is pain, devil is abuse, devil is people trying to hurt you, trying to kill you in any way they can, right? Not just physically, like kill your spirit.
Yes.
It's facing that down and saying, bitch, I'm here and I'm going nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere. So that's what life is about. So I wouldn't change anything to answer your question.
Okay.
No,
yeah,
I wouldn't.
I find you so inspiring. Thank you so much. I remember in like one video you said like I had every excuse to be like a drug addict on the street.
I could have been a piece of shit.
But
I really could have.
But you didn't. But you didn't.
And frankly, no one would have blamed me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
It's like that. But you know, you get through it and you figure life out, and if you have it in you, I don't know, maybe everyone doesn't have it in them, maybe some people do, you take life by the horns and you're like, I'm here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi Blaire, it's so nice to meet you.
Hi, good to meet you. Love the top.
I am visiting. I came out to see you actually from Portland.
Oh my God, thank you for coming out like that.
My sisters moved here a month ago, and so I'm staying with them, and we've had a great trip. And I was just wondering if you could give some advice to someone like me and other Republicans and moderate people who live in a woke city such as Portland.
I can. Been there. Maybe not as bad as Portland, I don't know. But, you know, I lived in Hollywood. I lived in the heart of Hollywood for all of COVID, most of COVID, actually. I escaped. But my advice is understand who you are. Because everywhere you look, left and right, is going to be people trying to either tell you who you are or make you feel bad about who you are. And understand that your beliefs really are who you are. They can change because you can learn, you can grow. But when people don't accept you for the things that you believe in, the way you see the world, that's, you know, in the most non-lived out way you can say it, that's an offense to you. Because that's saying that you are lesser than them. It's a on a real level, it's an evolutionary tactic. It's a putting yourself above someone else. It's a product of evolution, you know, and they try to keep you down. But when it comes to living in these cities, understand that you can get out, you can move. That's one thing. But if you want to stay and be a little braver than I was and hold down the fort in a blue city and try to hope it can sometime turn red, I applaud that as well, you know. But no one's going to blame you if you find your own people elsewhere, and don't ever let them like make you hide who you are. That's the worst thing you could ever do to yourself, and that's how they win. Because a lot of these cities are only blue because they suppress people so heavily. A lot of these places are only blue because they have this commie-ass shit going on where you can't say how you feel, which leads to not voting how you feel. It's a mass formation psychosis. That's what it is. So just know that the fact that you see through it already puts you on a higher frequency, and keep operating in that and take it higher. Take it higher.
Thank you so much.
Hi, thank you for wearing my merch.
Thank you. I love this shirt. My cat uses it more than I do. Like, my cat literally sleeps on this shirt.
I love that. I miss my cat. Oh my God.
But I need to be real with you. Real talk.
Be real.
Okay. People say red and blue, right? Or red or blue, left or right, good or evil. And I will unsubscribe from you if you answer this wrong.
The stakes. With the merch on and all, you are hardcore, bitch.
Do you say McDonald's or McDonald's? I'm kidding about the subscribe thing.
McDonald's.
Thank you!
Thank you! Oh my God. That was intense. How is that the most intense question so far? Everyone's like, so about sex changes, about you living in a blue city, how do you say McDonald's? And I'm like sweating. Hi.
Hi, Blaire. You look beautiful tonight.
Thank you. Oh my God.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for advocating for the protection of children. I feel like enough people don't do that nowadays.
Can I say one thing? Don't forget your question.
Go ahead.
I wanted to say this when someone else said something similar. I was like, it is really scary how being me and being the public figure I am and talking about the things I talk about, it's been really earth-shattering and crazy to see how many people either don't care about kids or want to harm them. It is so much higher of an amount of people than you would ever expect before you talk about it publicly. Nothing makes people angrier about what I do. I could say I'm voting for Trump 3 times in a row, because I am. I could say I support this movement, because I do. I could say I support this that's controversial. Nothing is more controversial than please don't have sex with kids or give them sex changes. Nothing's more controversial than that, and that's It is.
I feel like you talk about a lot of silly stuff. I know we laughed at some goofy looking people, but I mean, seriously, you're doing amazing work doing that. I feel like enough people don't go up to bat for kids nowadays because there's some serious issues that happen with that stuff.
Yeah.
But my question is, I know there's a lot of political questions, but my question is a little bit more personal. I would like to know something in your personal life, whether it be a hobby, a person, whatever, something that makes you happy and something that drives you to be the best version of yourself.
I love to learn. Like, I love going on just like deep dives when I'm in bed, on my laptop or my phone, like looking into whether it's I go down a history rabbit hole, whether I go down a UFO rabbit hole, whether I go down a like demons run the world rabbit hole. Like, I go down the rabbit holes, and I try to keep my sanity doing it, obviously, but just learning. I'm on a big learning kick for the past year or so where I'm like, holy shit, there's so much to know. And when you really see through the paradigm that we were all born into, which is just full of fake shit. Because I've been saying inversions everywhere. Not half-truths, straight up inversions. Sky is blue when it's actually purple. When you start to see that, you start to go down a lot of rabbit holes, and you're like, oh my God, this thing I would have never thought I'd change my mind on, it's changed when you find out information that's censored. So just learning. I don't know if that's the answer I wanted to give, but
thank you so much for your time, and have a great night. Take care.
You too. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Gorge. Okay.
Hi.
So my question is a little bit more messy. So
let's do it.
Okay. So my question is, do you believe it is abuse for children who actually have gender dysphoria to go on hormones specifically? I personally do, but I don't know what everyone else thinks, but that's my personal opinion. But I know they're transitioning kids so fast that don't even have that issue and are regretting it way on in the future, and that's so sad. But my question is, do you believe it is abuse to put children on hormones who actually have dysphoria?
Yes.
Yes.
Because, you know, I'm someone who has really had lifelong dysphoria, and I'm someone who seemingly had no way out of it, but it would have been abuse to put me on these medications as a teenager, even despite the fact that I'm a happy trans adult. It would have been abuse to give me that decision to make decision on me as a child, for sure. I think that sometimes we have to understand that it's more nuanced than just like good versus abuse or bad versus good. And sometimes it's like there's toxic kindness, there's toxic empathy, there's toxic acceptance, and that's a problem. That's one of the main problems in our society. It's how you end up having people on the screen talking about black children need to be separated from white children, and that's seen as good. That's toxic empathy. That's you get the point.
Yes.
So it is abusive regardless of the intent. Just like, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, go overboard on like spanking children, and they don't see it as abusive, and the world won't see it as abusive, and they're like punching their kid in McDonald's, and you know, they're doing it out of love or empathy, wanting to teach their kid the right way, but it's still abusive, right? So it's not so black and white. I think it's still abusive. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello again, Blaire.
Hi.
So,
love the hat.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I said love the hat.
Oh, thank you. So yesterday, before I went to sleep, I was scrolling through things on TikTok, and I saw something that made me realize what I wanted to ask you today. It has to deal with women's spaces and protecting kids. There was a story about a person who transitioned in a high school, teacher or coach, whatever, and then ended up using the women's restroom.
What is it?
Ended up using the women's restroom.
No, was it a teacher, you said?
Yeah, I was a teacher.
Okay.
Yeah. And I ended up not going into private spaces, was pre-op, and then everything was like showing, like through the panties and everything. I wonder what it's going to take for some people to realize that some things are okay, some things are not okay, that effort actually matters, and your energy matters, and it's not just about how you feel.
Well, it fixes by saying that, because that's so taboo to even say, right?
Yeah.
It's so taboo to even say, like, if you have a beard, don't go in the women's restroom. Like, this is common sense before, but it's not so much now. So just saying it in general, like, we have to take back that social contract that used to be there about so many things. Trans is just one thing, and it's actually, in many ways, a microcosm of all the that's going on right now, of the violations of other people that we're all engaging in, not all of us, but a lot of people are engaging in, right, on many different levels, not just trans, right? We have to get respect back for the common man, for each other, and take care of each other. We don't do that anymore.
Do you think the leftist liberals will ever do that?
If they lose hard enough, they'll be forced to.
Okay. And then you think that people will stop thinking that we're just men in dresses trying to prey on people?
Yeah, because we have to take that back. We have to take that back. We need more Blaire Whites. We need, and then that's not a narcissistic thing. We need more trans women speaking out, you know. And when in a world where there's like Blaire White and 2 others, we do need more Blaire Whites and 2 others, right? That's just objective. That's taking myself out of it. We have to, and we can, and we will. We can, and we will, because a lie can only survive for so long. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is this the final?
Okay.
Oh, final
no,
2 questions.
She was supposed to be the final. So I would like to ask you if I can ask you this question. I'm getting emotional because this is a valid question.
Okay.
But I've been yelled at by your team. And
I'm so sorry. Ask your question. You're fine.
Respectfully, if you want me to sit down, I will.
I don't want you to sit down. Ask what you want to ask. I'm so sorry. They're cutting the line because we are running out of time, but I want you to ask your question.
But if you want me to sit down, I will.
I don't. I want you to speak.
I wrote it down. Okay, I'll try to remember. Okay, thank you for being here. Thank you. Okay, I have 4 children. I have 2 girls and 2 boys. I genuinely want to know, moving forward in this world, in this crazy, sick world, how do I tell my boys when they're going to the club, when they're going to meet people, when they're dating, when they're doing things and like being catfished in this world and like whatever, how do I tell my boys appropriately to ask someone, are you a woman? Are you a male? What, like, how do I teach my boys what to say that's appropriate, that's kind, that's loving, that's, you know, like tell me, please, I genuinely want to know, because I don't know. I don't know this world. I respect you for being up here, and I love what you've had to say this entire night, so thank you. But I genuinely want to know what I tell my children moving forward in this world with so many people being something they're not. And I just need to know how I teach them.
I think you raise them to be who they are, exactly who they are, to live in their truth and their authenticity, frequency, and you teach them to be respectful to people, and I think that will naturally play out in a way that favors them in their life and their safety and their happiness. I really do. Here's the thing. You just have to raise good children, and they will know what to do in any of these situations. The world is really scary, and it can feel like many things are happening to us, but if you raise them to understand that they have control over their life and their situations they come into, no situation is going to take them so by, you know, happenstance that they end up being hurt that bad. Life is full of hurt, and they'll encounter hurt in a lot of different scenarios, but I think if you raise them to know who they are, that will always be mitigated. So just raise good people, and that'll change the world for everyone else as well.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I believe that.
I appreciate you taking the time. Sorry to your team for being a bit. My bad. But I appreciate you taking my last question because I did.
No worries. I appreciate you.
Civilian, whatever. Thank you.
She said, sorry for being a bit. I don't ever apologize for that. Was that the last question? Oh, okay, I guess we're done. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Nashville, Tennessee.